When you think of a cowboy or a wrangler, what kind of person do you imagine? Someone who's rough around the edges, maybe a little gruff, perhaps even a little lonely. What if I told you that some of the best wranglers in the country are veterans of the United States military? It may seem like an odd career change, going from soldier to wrangler, but for many veterans, it's a natural transition. The skills they learned in the military, like discipline, respect, and hard work, translate well to the world of ranching. And for those who grew up on a ranch, the call to serve in the military is just as strong as the call of the wild. Ranching can be a tough way of life, but for these vets, it's a life they're happy to live. They may not be able to ride a horse, rope a calf, or start a fire with just a couple of sticks and some stones. But what they lack in horsemanship skills, they make up for in grit, determination, and a strong work ethic. When you see a cowboy or wrangler riding across the range, herding cattle, or fixing a fence, take a moment to appreciate the unique skills and perspective that veteran brings to the job. Because for many veterans, being a rancher or wrangler is more than just a job, it's a way of life. If you've ever been on a dude ranch, you may have had the opportunity to meet and talk with some of the wranglers. You may have been impressed by their horsemanship skills or their knowledge of the land and the animals. You may have even learned a few things yourself, like how to ride a horse or how to throw a lasso. But did you ever stop to think about where those wranglers were before they came to the ranch? What were they doing before they decided to become wranglers? It turns out that many of them served in the United States military. That's right, these tough, rugged individuals who seem like they were born in the saddle actually spent several years in the military, learning skills that would help them in their future careers. Some were in the Army, others in the Marine Corps, some were in the Air Force, and others in the Navy. They were all over the world, serving their country and protecting our freedom. They saw things that most people can't even imagine, and they did things that most people would never dream of doing. But when their time in the military was up, they didn't just go back to their civilian lives. They decided to make a change. They traded in their uniforms for jeans and their dog tags for belt buckles. They took the skills they learned in the military, because let's face it, the world needs more cowboys and wranglers, and we're lucky to have them. When you think of a cowboy or a wrangler, what kind of person do you imagine? Someone who spent most of their life outdoors, maybe worked on a ranch, has an innate connection with animals. What about someone who spent most of their life in the military? You might be surprised to learn that these two lifestyles aren't all that different. In fact, there are quite a few similarities between being a soldier and being a wrangler. Both jobs require you to be outdoors and in shape. Both jobs require you to have a certain level of fitness. And both jobs require you to be able to work with animals. Because of these similarities, it's not surprising that many veterans find new lives for themselves as wranglers after they leave the military. In today's video, we are going to look at how these veterans make the transition from soldier to wrangler, and what challenges they face along the way. We'll also share some tips on how you can become a wrangler yourself. So whether you're a veteran looking for a new career, or just someone who's interested in learning more about wranglers, stay tuned. Being a wrangler can be a challenging but rewarding job. Rangers are responsible for taking care of horses and other animals on a ranch or at a dude ranch. They also work closely with guests to ensure that everyone has a safe and enjoyable experience. It takes a special kind of person to be a wrangler, someone who is patient, compassionate, and has a love of animals. Many veterans have found that the skills they developed in the military have helped them succeed as wranglers. For example, many veterans are used to working long hours and dealing with difficult situations. This is because being a soldier can be a very demanding job. Soldiers often have to be away from home for long periods of time, and they may have to deal with dangerous situations on a regular basis. As a result, many soldiers develop strong mental toughness and resilience. These are also important qualities for wranglers to have. Another similarity between being a soldier and being a wrangler is that both jobs require you to be physically fit. This is because wrangling can be a physically demanding job. Rangers often have to get up early and work long hours. They may also have to deal with dangerous animals, and they may have to ride horses for long periods of time. As a result, it's important for wranglers to be in good physical condition. So if you're a veteran who is looking for a new career, becoming a wrangler may be a good option for you. To become a wrangler, you will need to have a love of animals and be able to work outdoors in all types of weather. You will also need to be physically fit and have a strong work ethic. We hope you enjoyed learning about how veterans make the transition from soldier to wrangler. If you're a veteran, we encourage you to consider becoming a wrangler. It can be a challenging but rewarding career. And if you're not a veteran, we hope you've gained a new appreciation for the skills and qualities it takes to be a wrangler. Thanks for watching.